Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. Today I'm playing for your pleasure the USS Phelps, and this is a new US destroyer premium rewards at battle rating 4.3, and you can obtain it via the World War mode reward system of season 2. So I think that this ship is really great, but how it actually compares to the Cowell, the DD-360, has to be seen. The USS Phelps carries a usual layout of main guns in terms of numbers, 5-inch 38 Mark 12 dual purpose guns with 360 rounds of ammunition, and that is quite limited actually if you compare it to the Cowell, which carries 1800 rounds. Also very unusual is the gun layout, which reminds me only about the IJN Udachi, so one twin turret in the front, one twin turret at the very end of the ship, and one single turret super firing on the stern as well. The front placement for a gun has been replaced with a quadruple 40mm Bofors mounting. Amidships you can also find two twin 40mm. Then distributed across the ship you can find 6 single 20mm, and this is rounded up by 8 torpedoes. Yeah, that was difficult. The ship overall has even a little bit of armor on the side, half an inch though. Then the ship is pretty quick as well, with 60-90 kilometers per hour. Nothing really speed breaking, but better than nothing really. And I think that it is a nice ship to pick up on the way. Now, I think that this ship has a little bit of a drawback versus the Cowell, the DD-360, and this I want to go into, although the drawback will be adjusted in a few days time, I guess, because it's about the reload of the gun. As you can see, it is a 4-second reload. That is pre-buff 5-inch 38. And so all the other destroyers, the Cowell, the Fletcher class in general, but also the Sumners, the Summer, etc., they just have here the reload of 2.8 seconds. So I think this will get adjusted, and that raises the combat value of this ship even more. In fact, I think that is excellent, and you are superior to practically every other destroyer of any other nation. That's just how it is, maybe with the exception of the Japanese when it comes to the pure long lance Inferno, but that is a different question entirely. So what you can do with this ship is you can go into the fight, you can deal with any enemy, especially with the hopefully buffed main gun reload in the future, and you will take damage, you can get gunned down. The placement in twin turrets has its drawbacks because the hitting area is much bigger, they are easily knocked out, they have just over 3mm of armor, so practically really nothing. And so then you lose a substantial amount of your firepower in possibly a single hit, up to 40% in a single hit. And while I love 40mm, while they are effective versus aircraft, versus patrol boats, and in close quarters even versus destroyers and their main caliber guns, you know, at the usual combat distances, you want to have the best firepower possible. And this is quite funny because, you know, we have a new 4.3 ship king, and that is the Porter, the DD-356, and that ship has then also 2.8 second reload. It has then 8 5-inch 38s with 2.8 second reload, so you can see that you have there a substantial difference in firepower. So I think that this ship you know, is not the best 4.3, especially in the current state amongst the Americans, but compared to any other nation's destroyer, especially at this battle rating, it can hold itself quite easily, as you will see in this battle. I had battles with more kills, I had battles with more actions, but this is a battle where I survived and where I can show you the rewards afterwards so you can see if it is actually worth it. Handling of the ship is good, and the aircraft firepower is excellent, and yeah, the main gun firepower is adequate. Let's talk about the ammunition, and this is your standard 5-inch 38 ammunition loadout, because you begin with overall 4 shell types, and you have your standard high explosive shells, very good versus patrol boats and other destroyers as well. 3.22 kilograms of bursting charge, only has its limits when thrown against cruiser armor. Then the 5-inch Common Mark 32 is what I guess base use high explosive with only 1.15 kilograms of bursting charge. And I think that the 5-inch SP Common is better because it has at least 100 millimeters of penetration at 5 kilometers distance. And then the shell that I use as primary shell is the 5-inch AAVT Mark 31. It's basically the 5-inch AAC Mark 34, so your stock high explosive shell, only with a proximity fuse shell. And this is obviously excellent versus aircraft. Currently there is also a little bit of a bug. When you shoot at an aircraft, you shoot it down or you just lose track of it, and you then shoot at a ship, then the base use the proximity fuse shell then behaves like a flak shell basically and detonates prematurely. But you know, this is then where you can switch to the second shell type, for example your semi-armor piercing, and then switch back to the high explosive, and then you're fine to go with it again. As you can see, it is very, very impressive to throw out so many bullets at the enemy, and it is quite fun to also survive it with ease. And even some of the toughest ships, you can deal significant damage with just a handful of salvos too. So how good are then the torpedoes? Well, they are your usual American Mark 15 torpedoes. So with the torpedo mode, you have a range of 9.15 kilometers with a speed of 62 kilometers per hour. That is obviously nothing in contrast to the long lances, but if you do unuse the torpedo mode, so you stop torpedoes, then you have only a range of 5.5 kilometers, but your speed goes up to a respectable 83 kilometers per hour. So it's effectively down to you how you want to use them effectively. Let's talk about the torpedoes, because you have 8 of them in 2 quadruple launchers, and well, they are the Mark 15. So you have overall 8 instead of 10 compared to the Cowell, and then with the torpedo mode you have a range of 9.15 kilometers with a speed of 62 kilometers per hour. That is not really all that great. So if you use essentially the stock torpedoes, your speed goes up dramatically to 83 kilometers per hour, but you only have a 5.5 kilometer range. It depends on your choice, how you want to use them. They're not useless, but they're definitely not your primary armament, in contrast to, for example, the Japanese destroyers. So then, yeah, let's talk about the premium income, and this is very interesting. So the USS Phelps has the following modifiers for RP and civil lines respectively: 1.6 and 1.3 times 2.0. That is pretty decent, and in fact the USS Cowell has 1.45 and 1.54 for RP and 1.4 times 2.0 for civil lines. So you earn with the USS Phelps more RP but a bit less civil lines, and I think that's fair enough, I guess. So the ship has its strengths and weaknesses, and I think once the guns get buffed, you then have a ship that is essentially the same as the Cowell. But there is still a difference. The twin mounting layout means the following: those turrets are big, they're easy to hit, and especially with a single hit you can lose all your main battery firepower to the front, and also overall 40% in general with a broadsiding duel with another destroyer. The gun handling is very nice, very quick turret traverse, and also the reload together with the autogunners firing at aircraft with the proximity fuse while being filthy, it is also very effective indeed. And yeah, meanwhile you can deal with all the patrol boats with your 40mm. It's fun, don't get me wrong, but it shows again how lucky you have to get with the matchmaker, etc. And talking about the matchmaker, I was in fact really lucky. I don't know if this is happening to all the destroyers, but I never met a single cruiser, but I met also quite a lot of bots. On the other hand, you know, a kill is a kill, and only kills pay bills. I have to say that you have, depending on the time of day, long queue times. Naval Forces, big surprise, is not really that populated. Maybe it might change when this ship gets available for all the people that participated in the World War Mode Season 2, but we will have to see. This is a good ship. It has very good handling, and I think the anti-aircraft firepower is power creep proof in the future, and also I think that it is very nice versus enemy destroyers. Again, I hope that we'll see the buff. So now let's have a brief look at the post-battle results so we can see what you can actually earn in a good battle. We got 2 air kills, we got 5 kills on enemy ships and 6 assists. For that we got 67,000 civilians and 9,000 RP together with 2 epic awards, and this shows how good the ship is as a premium. It's not the very best that I've ever seen, but I think it's adequate. Nothing wrong with it, except the reload, and I hope that this one gets fixed. So that's already it for me today, so thanks for watching, thanks for listening, please give this video a like, if that's subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the battlefields, in the skies, and on the waves of War Thunder.